moments. They're the kind that freeze your blood. Real ghosts, creepy shadows, and things moving on their own.
Bismillah!
Each encounter is real and caught on camera.
Who was that?
If you're alone right now, you might want to leave the lights on. While exploring deep in the forests of Mexico, a man found what looked like an old, crumbling school. As he got closer, he felt eyes on him. Turning his head, he saw something that froze him in place. A girl, barely visible behind a wall. Her head looked strange, her eyes wide open, and her body still like a statue. No movement, no sound, just her watching. He rushed over to check, but when he reached the spot, she was gone. No tracks, no trace. That forest held something he wasn't supposed to see, and he never went back. Closing in. Opening the wrong door is usually harmless, until the door decides to close on its own. One man, just casually exploring an old abandoned house, found himself in the middle of something he never expected. The moment he stepped inside, things started getting weird. Doors slammed shut by themselves, objects shifted around for no reason. Feeling uneasy, he hurried out, but as he turned around, a window slammed shut above him, almost as if something inside wanted to make sure he was really gone. Sometimes the silence of the walls isn't the only thing that speaks. Dare gone wrong.
يا جماعة ما تلاحظون ان هذه كلها تتحرك كل هذه بسم الله لا اله الا الله اعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر.
Truth or dare? More like truth and nightmare. A group of friends were laughing, playing truth and dare, when one friend got the scariest challenge. Go inside an abandoned house with a nasty reputation. Stepping inside, they immediately felt the wrongness of it all. Objects moved, doors slammed without warning, and the air felt thick with something unseen watching them. They searched every room but found nothing. Fear gripped them as they raced out. The dare was over, but the unease lingered. What really waited for them in there?
لا إله إلا الله.
Shadows watch. In Savannah, Georgia, everything seemed normal during a group dance performance until something caught the attention of the viewers. A shadowy figure appeared in the top left corner of the screen, moving quickly behind the dancers near a door. The dancers didn't seem to notice anything, but the audience sure did. The figure dashed along the back wall in a way that felt wrong. Now, people wonder if it was the spirit of someone tied to the building's dark past. The timing, the motion, and the eerie presence left even the skeptics second-guessing. That wasn't part of the show, but it sure stole the spotlight. Inflated misery.
See? That right there.
He thought it was just a balloon, but it had other plans. As he mopped the floor, a red balloon floated toward him. Slowly, like it was alive. He moved away. It followed. He left the room. It floated out after him, like something invisible was attached to it, watching him. That moment froze him cold. He said it wasn't the balloon that scared him. It was the presence tied to it. Since that night, that hallway always felt colder, like someone or something was still there. Class dismissed.
Lo digo, uno se estará, ya, lecho, no, vamos bien, mierda. Concha tu madre, se abrió la puerta,
The lights flickered, and that should have been enough. But these friends didn't stop. Inside an abandoned school, things started quietly. Then, chairs began dragging across the floor. No hands, no people, just the sound of scraping filling the dark hallway. One of them caught it all on camera. What followed was chaos. Their laughs turned into screams. They ran before anything worse happened. Locals say the school never closed due to lack of students. It closed because something else had moved in. Hallway shadow.
Holy crap.
This wasn't part of the night shift. A security guard in San Francisco walked the usual halls until he heard it, a loud bang. Then a black figure slipped around the corner. When he chased it, nothing. Gone. No doors open, no sound, no footsteps. He rewound the footage, and the shadow was there. Slow, dark, tall. Some say it was the spirit of a student who once left her sadness in that school. Now she leaves shadows instead. Classroom watcher. An old school sat crumbling outside Houston, empty, but never quiet. A group of YouTubers entered, joking at first, but once inside, the air changed, cold, heavy. They heard something shuffling down the hall, then footsteps with no source. When they stepped into one classroom, they caught a shadow standing near the board. Just standing. Silent. No face, no movement. They left fast, but the camera caught it. That dark figure didn't follow, but it watched them leave. Knock on wood. Students were half asleep, waiting for class to end. Then something else decided to show up. The teacher's table moved on its own, screeching across the floor. Everyone just stared. Then a book lifted and launched off the table. Panic hit fast. Screams filled the room. Students ran, some slipping on the way out. The school closed that classroom the next day. They said it was nothing, but those who were there know better. Transfer student. Prayer began like always, rows of students bowing their heads. But behind one kid, there was another. Just for a second, a pale child, still quiet and not part of the group. When the footage went online, viewers froze. No one had seen that child in real life. People believe it's the spirit of a lost student, still showing up for roll call. Whatever it was, it didn't belong there, and it didn't leave with the others. Lost search. He just wanted to find his dog, that's it. But the tracks led him into an old school everyone in town avoids. The place was dead silent, floors dusty, walls cracked. He walked through slowly, whispering the dog's name. Then came the sound, chairs dragging on their own, echoing through the halls. There was no wind, so there was no reason for something like to be happening. Just movement. He froze. His dog was never there. Something else was. He backed out, heart racing, and never spoke of it again. Angry spirit.
Who was that?
This spirit was not happy. In the clip, it wasn't just a ghost hunt. It was a challenge. He entered the school where a young boy once lost his life in some sort of mysterious incident. Locals believe the spirit still lingered. At first, it was just cold air and flickering lights. Then, thuds upstairs, objects shifting without warning. He spoke out loud, trying to connect. Bad idea.
Hey!
The door behind him slammed shut. A whisper near his ear made him bolt. That spirit wasn't sad. It was angry. Haunted hallway. What happened in this clip is straight up nightmare fuel. It's late at night in a school, and CCTV catches something no one wants to see. A locker starts shaking by itself, hard, like something's trapped inside. Then out of nowhere, a bag on top flies off like it got smacked, but it doesn't stop there. A chair nearby slowly scrapes across the floor like it's being pulled by invisible hands. Some say the school's hiding something. Others think it should have been shut down the second this video surfaced. Whatever's in that hallway, it's not shy anymore. Shapeshifter. They walked into a trap. A group of tourists in Iraq found an old building that looked like it had been empty for years. No one told them to stay out. Big mistake. Everything was chill at first, until they stepped into a narrow hallway. That's when it appeared. A shadow figure, tall and still. But then it started shifting right in front of them. Not walking, not talking, just changing shape like it was made of smoke and nightmares. They bolted, left everything behind. That wasn't a building, more like a trap, waiting for someone to walk in. Night shift. One janitor thought it was just another quiet night shift, mopping floors, flipping lights, same old stuff. But when he got home and checked the security cameras, things took a dark turn. The footage showed a shadow figure sprinting across the hallway, not walking, running, like it knew exactly where it was going. He had heard noises from upstairs that night, and now he's sure he wasn't alone. Since then, he's been asking to switch shifts. No one wants to work that late anymore. Locked warning.
Knock harder. Let him know. Let him...
These girls thought it'd be funny to open a classroom that had been sealed shut for years. Just a laugh, nothing serious. But when they got close, a loud crash came from inside, like something slamming against the walls. Whatever was in there wasn't happy. They came knocking.
No, go.
That sound wasn't just noise. It felt angry. They didn't stick around to find out more. That moment, it flipped the mood real quick. They ran, and now they know that room was locked for a reason.
Knock harder. Let him know. Let him...
Field ghost. It was just another high school football game between Northview High and Lake Hill Academy. Cheerleaders dancing, parents filming, everything normal. But when one mom rewatched her video days later, something horrifying showed up. A ghostly figure sprinted across the field. It wasn't part of the show, and it definitely wasn't human. Her daughter swore the footage was real, said her mom doesn't even know how to use filters, let alone fake a ghost. And now, that short clip has everyone wondering, what was really on that field that night? Don't walk alone.
Stop. What? Innalillahi wa inna ilaihi rajiun. Astagfirullahaladzim. Kang, mari Kang. Kak Wan Girl, thank you. Kak Wan Girl. Gue ngedenger kayak ada yang ngelempar. Hello?
This ghost hunter walked into an abandoned school like he owned the place, confident, camera in hand. But inside, things felt off. Cold spots, weird chills, like someone was watching from every hallway.
Astagfirullahaladzim, itu apa Kang? Innalillahi wa inna ilaihi rajiun.
He shrugged it off until he reviewed the footage. That's when he saw them. Faint, ghostly figures. Exactly where he felt the chills.
Gue denger suara nangis cuy. Gimana sih? Allahu Akbar.
They were right beside him the whole time. It wasn't just a spooky vibe. That place, it wasn't empty. It was occupied.
Mending ini aja lah. Mending cepet. Allahu Akbar.
Paranormal Hospital.
Astagfirullahaladzim. Astagfirullahaladzim. Tanawan Kak.
This ghost hunter walked into an abandoned hospital like he'd done it all before. But the second he stepped inside, it was clear something was off. Cold air, flickering lights, bad signs. But he kept going.
Bar itu di luhur cuy. Di luhur, Wak. Bodo amat.
Then a wheelchair rolled across the hallway on its own. Not a creak, not a push, just moving, like someone invisible was sitting in it. And then a shadow in the window, a full, dark figure just standing there. He didn't run. He should have, though. Places like this, they don't always let people leave the same way they came in.
Allahu Akbar.
Spirit School.
来た。
In a forgotten Japanese town, one explorer made the mistake of wandering into an old religious school. It looked empty, but the air felt weird, like the place still remembered everyone who'd been there. On the stairs, he heard footsteps. Nobody in sight. A stick dropped from nowhere, and just to test things, he tossed a balloon. It floated, then stopped, like someone caught it mid-air. He backed off, fast. Luckily, he got out without a scratch. But that school, something's still walking its halls, unseen. Dressing room creep. Late at night in Buenos Aires, a security guard kept hearing banging from a dressing room. Thinking it was just a prank, he pulled out his phone and hit record. The door was slamming over and over, but when he stepped in, silence, empty room. But the camera caught something he didn't. A black shadow moving fast, gliding across the benches and phasing right through a solid wall. He didn't see it with his eyes, but the proof was right there. Something was inside that room, and it wasn't playing games. Homeschooled.
This is an auditorium. It looks more like a school. Yeah. Oh!
This group of YouTubers thought they were just filming another spooky, abandoned school. But this one had a deeper story. Before the school was built, it was someone's home. That someone, locals say, he never left. The place was shut down not long after it opened, and no one really talked about why. But the moment the crew walked in, things started getting weird. Loud thuds, weird train sounds, except there was no train anywhere nearby. Then came the piano music. No one was near it. When they stepped closer, a book flew right at them. That was enough. They packed up and left. That spirit clearly wanted its house back. Sneaky touch. He was just a regular guy exploring an old school left to rot, but the place wasn't quite like you'd expect. No birds, no breeze, just strange sounds, echoing footsteps, and stuff shifting around like someone invisible was pacing the halls. The place looked destroyed, untouched for years, but it didn't feel empty. Every hallway had a heavy feeling, like something was walking right behind him. He didn't see anything, but the sounds, they weren't echoes. That building might be falling apart, but something in there is still wide awake. Creeping object. A school CCTV picked up something small, but seriously creepy. A weird little object was caught sliding across the floor, slowly moving from one spot to another, like something was pulling it. No wind, no wires, nothing around. The security guard checked everything. It wasn't a prank. Some thought it was just a stick, but sticks don't move like that. Not on their own. Not in a locked room. Something strange was in that hallway, and it left more questions than answers. Blinking dummy.
Oh, it's like scared the hell away. Excuse me. God, it's crazy. Oh my God, that scared the...
One explorer thought it was just a broken mannequin propped in the hallway. It didn't move, didn't speak, but the closer he got, the more wrong it felt. Its eyes looked too real, wet, focused. He laughed nervously, touched its shoulder, and it fell. Not like plastic. It dropped heavy, like a body. His camera shook as he backed away. Whatever it was, it didn't belong in that building, and it might still be there, standing somewhere new.
Why would somebody be here?
White figure. A man, late returning home to his small village in the Philippines, felt something was off the moment he stepped inside. The silence was too heavy. As he checked around, his eyes caught a strange movement outside one of the windows. A white figure was jumping unnaturally, in a way that made his stomach twist. He stood there, watching, trying to figure it out. But no matter how hard he focused, the figure stayed just as confusing. When he stepped outside to investigate, though, the figure was gone. No footprints, no trace. Just an empty night. That's something no one can explain. Haunted hallways. It was a typical school day at Pocatello High School in Idaho, until the security cameras caught something that would change everything. On December 19th, 2014, the lights flickered on and off in random spots, and then a ghostly figure calmly walked out of the bathroom, disappearing into the hallway. This wasn't a one-time thing either. The school has a long history of eerie events. Vanishing groups, phantom piano music from the theater, and shadows lurking around corners. Paranormal experts John and Lisa Bryan even came in to investigate, only to find their gear had mysteriously vanished. And when it showed up, it was in a place that no one could have reached. Disturbed silence. It was supposed to be an ordinary exploration. A man, passionate about abandoned places, set out to check out an old, empty school. But as soon as he stepped inside, the air grew heavy. A cold shiver ran down his spine. Then, out of nowhere, a chair began dragging across the floor by itself. Before he could even blink, the swings outside started moving. Just the creaking of something, or someone, trying to make itself known. It wasn't just an abandoned school. It was something far darker, something that didn't want to be disturbed. And it was making sure he knew that. Dark presence.
Saya cium bau nggak enak teman-teman di sini.
Some places are better left undisturbed. In a small town in Iran, a man, new to the area, wandered into an abandoned school by accident. At first, it seemed like just another old building, but soon he realized he was lost. As he searched for an exit, the atmosphere shifted. He suddenly felt that strange, unshakable sensation of being watched. When he turned, he saw a figure standing with its back to him. Slowly, it tilted its head up and then turned it back toward him, eyes locked on his. He froze, terrified. His heart pounded as he rushed out of there, swearing never to return. Headless horror.
Who's up here tonight? Anybody? You guys aren't? You like kids?
Back in 2015, a group of tourists checked into the Stanley Hotel in Colorado. It was supposed to be a fun stay, but that night, things took a weird turn. Strange noises echoed through the hallways, pulling everyone out of their rooms. They called the staff, but as they talked, something far more unsettling appeared. A child's ghostly figure with no head drifted down the hallway. No one saw it clearly at the time, but luckily, one tourist had their camera recording.
Who's up here tonight? Anybody? You guys aren't? You like kids?
Later, they saw the chilling footage. After that night, the fourth floor was closed for a while. But maybe, just maybe, that headless figure still roams the halls. Unwelcome guest. This ghost hunter had faced countless paranormal events, but nothing like what awaited him in an abandoned house. While exploring, he suddenly found himself locked inside. Just when he thought he'd found a way out, the door slammed shut on its own. He pressed on, but the place was empty. Too empty. Then, out of nowhere, an object flew toward him, striking him hard enough to leave a mark. He knew it was a warning. Whatever haunted that house didn't want him to leave. And if he hadn't escaped when he did, things might have ended very differently. Some places are dangerous for a reason. Basement Watcher. In a small Romanian town, an old abandoned church had a reputation for being the center of strange happenings. One curious man decided to explore it. The moment he stepped inside, something felt off. A stick moved on its own nearby, but he brushed it off and continued down into the basement. Though he couldn't see anyone, an overwhelming sense of being watched crept over him. Later, as he reviewed his footage, the truth hit him. There was something or someone in the dark, quietly observing him. He hadn't been alone, not even close. Silent Watcher. A man searching for his missing cats wandered near an old abandoned house that hadn't seen a visitor in years. He eventually found his cats, but something else caught his eye. It felt like someone was watching him. When he glanced up at the roof, he saw a dark figure standing there, silently staring down at him. His heart raced, and he quickly made his exit. The house, long thought abandoned, seemed to have a new occupant. Maybe it wasn't abandoned after all. Maybe it now belonged to that shadowy figure. Don't enter. Curiosity doesn't always lead to answers. Sometimes it just leads to fear. In an old village stood an abandoned house, its cracked walls and eerie silence making it feel like the air itself was holding its breath. One guy decided to check it out, but the moment he stepped inside, the doors began slamming shut on their own. No wind, no one else around. Just the terrifying echo of each slam bouncing off the walls. Some say the house is angry it was forgotten. It seems it's still waiting for someone to remember. Substation Shadows. In October 2022, YouTuber Chris Hill set out to explore the Cedar Avenue substation in Cleveland, Ohio, a place abandoned since 1948 and steeped in rumors of paranormal activity. As he wandered through the crumbling building, the temperature dropped suddenly and strange noises filled the air. Then, he unknowingly captured a white shadow moving behind a concrete shelf. The real terror struck when a loud bang echoed and a shadowy figure appeared beside him, only to vanish moments later. Chris felt ill and started vomiting, oblivious to the ghostly figure watching him in the footage. He returned a month later seeking answers, but some doors are better left unopened. Unseen Watcher. On a cold winter night in Chandigarh, something happened that made everyone freeze for a different reason. Inside a girls' hostel, one student screamed in terror after seeing a ghostly figure standing in the corridor. Her scream brought others out of their rooms, and to their horror, they all saw the same thing. Panic set in, and they rushed outside. Even from the safety of the street, some swore the figure was still standing inside, silently watching them. Whatever it wasn't ready to leave. Room disturbance. Having CCTV at home can be comforting until it shows something you wish you hadn't seen. A man was casually checking footage from his kid's room when things got weird. A small swing toy began to move on its own, even though the windows were shut tight. Moments later, the cupboard door creaked open slowly, then slammed shut without anyone near it. But the creepiest part? His daughter was in the room the whole time. Completely calm. Not even blinking. It was like she was used to it. Whatever was in that room, it didn't want to hide. Empty flight. Francisco Hernandez was doing his usual 3 a.m. patrol of a plane parked in Mexico City when the quiet night took a turn. He went inside after hearing loud bangs and doors slamming. Armed with just a flashlight, he walked down the aisle when suddenly something peeked from the corner.
No mames.
A dark shape, barely visible, but clearly there. He was alone, or at least he thought he was. The whole thing was caught on camera. That plane hadn't moved in days, but something was still on board. Ghost Rider. Thomas was flying his new drone over the old Berkeley Castle in Gloucestershire, just for fun. Everything was going smooth until the drone lost connection for 10 seconds. He landed it safely and didn't think much of it until he checked the footage. On screen was a shadowy, night-like figure riding across the castle grounds. No one else was around. No horses. No riders. Just that figure, silent and fast, like something out of another time. Whatever Thomas filmed, it didn't belong to this century. Haunted Nun. A man walked into an abandoned church that locals whispered about for years. It was quiet, still, and cold. But when he got near the altar, everything changed. On a dusty chair sat a ghostly nun, motionless, but clearly watching him. People believe she never really left after her passing, and that her spirit takes over anyone who stays too long. Frozen in place, the man stared at her as she slowly began to move. That was enough.
Hello?
He bolted out of there and didn't stop, but no matter how far he ran,